Hi, so it's time for Grandma Reads a Story, and we have two spring stories today because it's spring. And it's kind of snowed this morning, but it's going to be warming up again, and we're going to be in the 50s and 60s, so it really is spring. The first story is called Home in the Rain, and it's by Bob Graham. So, did you ever go on a trip with your family and get caught in the rain? And how does that feel? So, we're going to enjoy this story. Goodbye, Grandma. Goodbye, Francine, says Grandma. You both take care. It's wet out there and such a long way home. We will, won't we, Mommy? Asked Francie. Of course we will, said Mom. Their little red car seemed to muster all of its courage as it waited outside, ready for the road. Nice hugs. Home in the Rain by Bob Graham. Didn't it rain? Whoa. It hit the highway, bucketing down on Francie and her mom and her baby sister on their way home from Grandma's. It rained on endless lines of cars and buses, oil tankers and trucks, the windshield wipers in despair. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Get all that rain. But the rain was going nowhere except down. Francie, Mom, and baby sister, a long way from home, a big rig, passed on a long haul trip, headed for heaven knows where. It rocked them in road spray and washed them up into the picnic area. Oh my gosh. Above the highway, it rained on the hill, and a baby rabbit dived for cover. It rained on a field mouse, wet and confused, in the blackberries, and lucky too, because 300 feet up, a kestrel had lost sight of its prey. Couldn't see through all that rain, apparently, and the berries. It rained on the canal, turning the water white, and it rained on the fishermen, wet as the fish below. Young Marcus, water running down his neck, his fingers smelling of fate, wished he were somewhere else. You ever had that happen in a rainstorm? Wish you were somewhere else? While the water ran off the backs of ducks. They don't apparently care. The rain soaked two men on the Western Highway interchange. They argued while steam rose from their hot engines. Not looking where it was going, the countryside ran straight into the edge of the highway, bringing with it the faint smell of farmyards. Francie, Mom, and baby sister, such a long way from home. Inside Francie's car, the fog moved in. She wrote her name in her breath on the side window. Ever written on the windows, steamy windows? She wrote her mom's name with her fingers squeaking on the grass. And then her dad's name. Her dad, working far out to sea, gone 3 weeks now. She wrote it clear across the front window. My little sister, what will her name be, Mommy? Well, she's not quite with us yet, said Mom. But when will she have a name, Mommy? Said Francie. Soon, said Mom. Sometime soon. Francie saw a whole back window just waiting for a name. A window just waiting for Francie's wet finger. Could it be Alice, maybe? Or Isabel? Emma? Or Zoe? Well, they're nice, Francie, said Mom. But there's a name somehow where out there that will fit her just right. They ate the picnic Grandma had packed, jam sandwiches and hard-boiled eggs with a little sprinkle of salt. They shared the 2 stale toffees found under old parking tickets in the door. When is Daddy coming home? Said Francie. Soon, replied Mama. Sometime soon. Like the new baby then? Said Francie, and felt a small movement against her ear. Well, yeah, said Mom, brushing crumbs from her knees, like the new baby. Then the radio played. This is 3LFM, your spot on the radio. It's wet on the road, so you take care, folks. Francie and her mom and her baby sister pulled back out into the traffic. Far off down the road, they found a service station. Hail hit the road, and oil on the puddles made rainbows around Francie's toes. What was about to happen would not be noticed by anyone, not by Sam Miller feeding his dog fried chicken legs, nor by Kate Calder losing her soft fruity fizzes from a hole in her pocket, not even by a seagull who was eating them. What's going to happen? Perhaps it was something unremarkable, not to be seen by strangers passing in the rain, for it was just a mom lost in thought and a small girl dancing. Francie, come here, said Mom. What's Mom's going to say? Grace, your new sister. We'll call her Grace. And Mom hugged Francie as best she could, with Francie's sister Grace in between. The 3 of them. They staggered and toppled a bit, did a slow and awkward little dance of their own until Francie's feet found the ground again. Francie had a feeling. She knew right here, with the smell of gasoline and her feet all wet on the pavement in the rain, that she would remember this moment forever. Wait until Daddy hears, said Francie. Daddy will love that, replied Mom. And way back down the highway, Francie's grandma sipped tea. Rabbits and field mice were deep in their burrows. Young Marcus headed for home for a hot bath, and somewhere kestrel chicks went without dinner. Then the sun covered the countryside, far off and away from Grandma's place, till home and out across the sea. Their little car, now full of courage, bumped off down the road. The windows rolled down, wind rushing through. Love it when the rain stops. Fresh smell. One window was still fogged up. It had Francie's fading breath and Grace still faintly showing. Oh, look, Daddy's home when they get there. So I hoped you liked that story called Home in the Rain. So what happened at the beginning of the story? They were going home. Where had they been? At Grandma's house. Grandma said what? Be careful. Yeah, on their way home. And oh, it was raining. Whoa, their little car traveled a long way home. And Francie was kind of bored. So what was she doing? Make the time pass. What was she doing? She was writing names on the foggy windows. And she had Mama's name, her name, Daddy's name, but she had a fourth window. What did she ask? She asked her mom, what's her baby sister's name going to be? Mom said, I'll find a name that fits. Oh, they're driving home. And what did they do? They ate the picnic lunch that Grandma brought on the side in the picnic area. It's still raining. And so she could feel her baby sister and she put her head on her lap, Mama's lap. So it's raining on everybody. Finally, it stops. They're at the gas station and there's puddles made rainbows around Francie's toes. Hail hit the roof. Oh my gosh. So all this stuff is going on. Then Mom has something, an idea. What does she do? She says, come here, Francine. Come here. She says, Grace, your sister's name will be Grace. You think they found some Grace there on their way home? Made it through so safely, apparently. And there's this fancy feeling, this wonderful feeling. Sun comes out, and still you can see the name in the back of the car, Grace. And then there's Dad. So, I hope you enjoyed that story. Do you have any stories about driving home from Grandma's house or driving to Grandma's house and maybe caught in a rain or caught in snow? Hopefully no more snow this year, or in hail. So what's your favorite story? Why don't you make a comment on Facebook Live and share a story with me of your favorite trip to someplace, home from someplace, being caught by the weather, which wasn't a lot of fun and being a little bored. But it was special though because they now had a name for the baby sister, which was Grace. Seems like a fitting name. Making it safely through a storm, rainstorm, hail. So the next story we're going to share is also a spring story. And this one is called Finding Spring. So can you find spring? Is spring something you can find? Let's see. It's by Karen Berger. Okay, the forest was growing cold. Mama said that soon it would be time to sleep. But all Maurice could think about was his first spring. Spring, 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 he sang as they filled up on berries. There they go. I wish it was spring right now, Maurice told Mama. Waiting is hard, she said. Right now it is time to sleep. Maybe you will dream about spring, Mama whispered. Soon she was softly snoring. But Maurice was wide awake. I will go find spring, he said. Look at the leaves on the trees. It's going to be a tough find. There he is, out in the woods. And off he went. He's going to find spring. I am looking for spring, Maurice told Squirrel. That might take a while, Squirrel chittered, trying to bury a large acorn. I am looking for spring, he told Rabbit. Not yet, Rabbit giggled before dashing into his warm burrow. Deer didn't even look up from her grass. I am looking for spring, he told Robin. Everything in its time, Robin said. Then she flew south. Wood smelled musky, and there was something new and tangy in the air. That is, it's new and tangy in the air. I smell spring, said Maurice as he hurried along. He smelled spring. Suddenly, Maurice felt an icy sting on his nose. Is that spring? He asked. A beautiful crystal landed on his paw. Spring? The crystal disappeared, but soon there was another, and another, and another. Maurice chased after them. Spring was hard to catch. He chased them. So do you think those are spring? Past dry leaves, past bare branches, over the frozen stream. Do you think it's spring? Like a snowflake to me. All the way to the great hill. Wow, said Maurice. Ever said wow, looking at the top of a hill, looking at snow coming down? Spring, spring, I found spring, he sang as he scooped up a bit to take home. Looks like he doesn't know about snow. That big pile of it. Back in the den, Maurice snuggled happily against Mama. They're in a tree. He slept, slept, and slept. When he woke up, everyone had already gathered in the meadow. I brought you some spring, Maurice announced. But spring was gone. That's where he put it in. He tied it up in there. There's nothing in there. Could have happened. Where is it? He asked. Spring can be hard to find, said Robin. Maybe it's hiding. Robin giggled. Deer just blinked. Sometimes you really have to search, said Squirrel. Let's look again, Mama said. Think you'll find spring? So Maurice led them back through the forest. He saw blooming branches and bright green buds. He saw the rushing stream. Everything had changed, and Maurice knew just what to do. To the great hill, he cried. What happened to the frozen pond and the frozen river? And at last, there it was. Maurice had finally found spring. So, what happened in that story? How did it start out? It started out with what? Maurice wanted what? He wanted to find spring. He was all looking forward to his first spring. He'd never been through a spring before. So I'm guessing he'd never been through what else? Never been through winter before either, I'm guessing. So, forest was cold. Well, Mom says it'd be time to sleep, but all he could think about was spring. And so he was singing a song about spring as they ate all their berries. He's saying, oh, I wish it was spring right now. What does Mama say? Oh, sometimes it's hard to wait. Right now, it's time to sleep. When you're excited about something like maybe Christmas or in Morris's case, spring, it's kind of hard to sleep sometimes, huh? Did you ever tiptoe downstairs or out of your bed? You're so excited about something coming up, something gonna happen. So he's gonna find it. He asks all his friends, and they're saying, oh, you gotta wait. Oh, you have to be patient. You smell something tangy, something different in the air. And what is it? Can you tell? Yes, it's snow. He thinks snow is something new he's never seen before. Maybe it's spring. So he decides, takes them home with them, and then he falls asleep. And so when he wakes up, the snow's melted. He's like, oh, he's looking for spring. Where could it be? And then he makes it to the top of the hill. He says he found it. So what is it that he found? He found leaves and flowers and green and trees. And he says, spring. He found spring. So, hope you enjoyed that story. Well, actually 2 stories about spring, maybe thinking about warm weather and spring. It'll warm up the day. Tomorrow will be warm. So hope you join us next week. We're going to do again. Grandma reads a story, but we're going to be doing it as a joint project with foster grandparents, and so hope. And they're going to be reading it next week. So I hope you enjoy it today, and hope to see you again next week. Goodbye. This is Bonnie Balder from Pontiac Public Library, wishing you a happy and healthy day.